Howdy, Benchwarmers. Welcome back to the Seniors on JV podcast. I'm Kennedy Smith, here alongside with my co-host, Jake Lanier.
Kennedy has not fired me yet, and I appreciate it.
We're really close, though. Yeah. And our invisible producer, Ryan Steer.
Run it back. What's up?
And today we have a very, very, very special guest, Olympic gold medalist, Athing Mu.
Two-time. Don't forget this two-time.
Two-time.
Hi, guys.
Let's get into those stats, actually. Ryan, do you want to give us a rundown of the long resume that is Athing Mu? And we're just going to give the base because we could go on all day if we gave everything.
We really could. There's quite the litany of accomplishments here for Athing. Let's see. First, you are the 2021 Bowerman winner, which is essentially the Heisman of track for people that know. It's quite the accomplishment. Along with that, you are a two-time Olympic gold medalist in the 800 meter and 4x400 meter relay. You are the American world record holder, not world record, the American record holder in the 800 with a minute 55 second flat. Along with that, you are an NCAA record holder in the indoor 800, 4x4, and the outdoor 400, 800, and 4x4. Along with that, you are a professional baker on the side.
Any comments on your baking skills?
I do not bake. I'm actually trying to learn how to bake. I will probably burn whatever I make, so I'm not there yet, but we're getting there.
All right. Well, we're going to get to know you a little bit more other than your amazing baking skills, which I need to experience. You need to bring those to practice.
Yeah, let's not.
But let's start it off. Where are you from?
I am from Trenton, New Jersey, the capital of Jersey. Pretty small but big town. A lot of people there.
So most people, they get into running track. I know this is how our experiences were. You get into track when you go to junior high because that's when your first track team is available. But you took a very different route. How did you get started into track?
I have 6 other siblings. My eldest brother, Guy, he started kind of off the whole family with running track and field. So we all went to the same high school, Trenton High, the capital of our city. And he began running track and field there and then followed my sisters and then all the way down the line to me. And so when they all ran track, the coach that was at the high school at the time, he also had a club track team, which is like basically AAU and things like that. So he had that going on. And so my eldest brother joined that just so they can get extra practice off the high school scene. And then again, not all my siblings, but most of them followed off, going to the Trenton Track Club. And then that just led to me, going there one day, just hanging out and really just being a little kid because I was probably around the age of 6. And eventually I started practicing with the team. And I think at 9 is when I ran at my first national championship, AAU championship, and I won my title in the 800. So that's kind of how I got started.
And you never actually ran for your high school then, just club?
Yeah, I think at this time, just starting so young with the club team, I think by the time I got to high school, I kind of realized, or we made that decision together, just thinking, where would I benefit the most? High school training or running with the coach that's been coaching me since the age of 6. And so we just decided to take the off route and just continue to train with the Trenton Track Club throughout high school and even leading up to college as well.
So your first champion title was at 9. Did you lose one in all of junior high school at all?
1,000%. I've taken so many L's when I was younger.
But in the 800?
Yes, in the 800, the 15. I remember it was in nationals. I think it was USATF nationals. I don't know. I was probably like 11 or something like that. And this one girl, I ended up tripping at the last 200 of the 800. It was either the 8 or the 15, and I took an L. So I just lost that title. But
we're gonna put an asterisk next to that loss. You tripped.
I still lost, but I've lost 400 meter titles. I was never super consistent with wins. I guess up until this last year was a pretty clean slate for me, but
yeah, that very much changed, which we'll get more into coming up.
Yeah, so let's flash it back to pre-COVID 2020. You're committed to A&M, but there is an Olympic year. Were there any talks of you going pro right out of high school if you would have made the Olympic team and forego your collegiate career?
Definitely. I think, when I was 16, I ran the American record at USA Indoors in the 600. And so I think from that point is when I started to get people looking at me, I guess different sponsors and things like that, which I wasn't really looking into much just because I'm still 16. I'm like, man, I'm a little kid. I want to at least finish high school and things like that. but that was still in the works. But then when I guess my senior year of high school came and we knew trials was going to be here, I definitely believe if I would have ran at trials, made the team, more talk about going pro was going to happen, and it would have been more imperative than it was when I was 16. But the thing for me was I actually wanted to go to college, so I wasn't really into that as much as, someone else would have been.
So you're looking to colleges. What set A&M apart from every other school? Because you could have gone anywhere you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I wanted to go to college, and one of the main things that I really wanted was a team because, as you guys know, not running in high school, I was basically the only athlete competing at this high level. So during the school year where other people were running high school track, I was competing by myself. I was training by myself. And then when summer track came, I was, again, competing and training by myself for most of the time, even though we would travel as a group. And by the end of it, getting to my junior year of high school, even running in professional races, I kind of just decided like, man, I really need a team. So the thing I'm going to do is go to college. The one school that, of course, plenty of track and field athletes look, forward to going to, or their dream school, is Oregon. And so that was the place that I wanted to go. I ended up getting to know Coach Mallard, even though I did not want to go to Texas because of the heat.
The GOAT.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up talking to him, and he came on a home visit, stayed for like an hour, and I really enjoyed his presence. Moving forward, we came for a home visit, not a home visit, an official visit here. And it kind of just felt like home. The people are just so nice and genuine here. I guess it's just a Aggie spirit. I don't know, but everyone's so nice. I was like, man, it's not like this up north. So I was like, I didn't find this at Oregon when I went on a visit there. It didn't feel like home. It just felt like another school I'd, want to go to just because of track. So just made my decision to come here and start a new chapter.
Yeah, so now you're at A&M. What goals did you originally have? I know they probably changed as the season was going so well, but what were your original goals once you were at A&M?
To be honest, well, when I first committed to the school, COVID happened, so I was kind of going through a rough time just mentally. Track was kind of not my favorite thing to do at the time just because it felt even more lonely than it usually would because of COVID, not having my coach even at times. So after that, I kind of just got into this whole mental wellness thing where I started getting back into the Bible, and I started to just become one with myself. I guess that's the only way to explain it. And so by the time college came, I made the decision of just like not really having any expectations. So I was just thinking, if my first year doesn't go well, then it is what it is. I'm just going to have another year here, and that's okay. Like, I wasn't really pressing anything. I wasn't trying to come to college and win national titles and break records right off the bat. I kind of was just deciding to take everything slow and just, go with whatever happens. Just because I think that's kind of what made me a little more at peace. And I know that when I am at peace and when I am enjoying what I'm doing, I am at my best. And I think that's the reason why, my season went so well, just because I kind of ran with no expectations and ran like every race was my last one, as I remember Coach Henry saying at our first meet.
I think that's so important to go into these races and still have a sense of humility, know that I'm going to give it my all. If it doesn't go the way I want it to, like, I'm still here for the love of the sport. But you did say that you weren't fully expecting, okay, like, I'm going to go get the national record. I'm going to go win nationals, get the collegiate record.
Right.
But you did. So indoor, you got the 800 collegiate record, and outdoor you did, obviously. You got them both. But you never ran the 800 at nationals. So you never actually won the 800 at the national level.
Instead, the world.
The world, of course, but not at the collegiate NCAAs. Was that your decision, or whose decision was that?
It was definitely Coach Nye's decision, Coach Mallard and I. We definitely talked over our seasons, starting indoors. We kind of talked about what we would do leading up to the end and then leading into our outdoor season. So I think just throughout the year, we talked about the things we want to do and what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. So after running my first 800, which was basically my opener race, if I'm not mistaken, it was probably like my second or third race. And, just running 201, I think I PR'd probably. I know it was a PR indoors, but I'm not sure about outdoors, but I PR'd right off the bat. So if you come off something just like that, there's kind of, in my opinion, or, us just thinking together, no reason to really, continuously run the same race if you already ran such a great time. I think we just decided to just build off of that race and do other events like the 6 and like the 4 to get some speed work in and just continue to work for the 800 without actually doing the 800. And I think that just kind of played a big role in not wearing myself out throughout the whole season. And then when it came to outdoors as well, I ran, the collegiate record in my first outdoor race. And so, I mean, that kind of just, there was no really reason to do it again if I already ran this. We already knew that I wanted to run at trials. We wanted to try and make that Olympic team, and it'd be more important to race the 800 again there than it would to be, go win a national title. And also for collegiate runners, USA's is really close to NCAA's, so I would have been running about 5 800s in 1 month, just trying to make get that national title for college and then get that national title for USA. So it didn't really make much sense for us. Again, that would have been just wearing my legs out and not really be helpful for me in the future.
I feel like that's one really unique thing about track. We don't have to run every weekend. You especially, in such a grueling race that does so much to your body, you shouldn't be running it every weekend. Right. So giving yourself diversity, doing the 400, you did a 1500, doing different things really is good for yourself. And you only ran a handful of 800s in college, but you made the most of them.
Yes, I did that. And I think that's really important when you get to college, especially trying to plan out your races. If you want to do things more than just, collegiate running, when it comes to trials and even world championships next year or this coming year, just make sure you keep your legs set, because college running is a lot. I was running basically every weekend.
Every weekend from December till August.
Yeah, how long was your season?
If we consider fall training, I started in August and I didn't end until almost September.
Of the next year?
Yes.
Wow.
It's I guess you're kind of an anomaly where you PR'd basically almost every race. But for most people, it's really nice how you can kind of go to different events, indoor and outdoor, and kind of like work towards breaking those PRs and kind of just take the edge off and not having to focus on, I need to run faster than the 800. You're like, I just PR'd in the 400, so that means I have more speed work. So that means eventually the 800 is going to.
Exactly. And I think for me, that also makes it more fun. Just kind of getting done what you got to do, and then just kind of enjoying whatever else you can do. If you can hop in some 400s, get some speed work in, go ahead and do it. 1500s just to get some strength, do it. So that's why I enjoyed it a lot. Just had a good opportunity to do a lot of other things.
I feel like that also helps prevent burnout, because if you're doing the 800 all the time, you're going to get sick of it at some point.
Especially if you're trying to run a fast time every time. Would
you prefer doing the 400 or the 1500? Which way do you like going?
I think the 1500 is pretty fun just because I don't do it often, but I'm more for the 400. I'd rather run less laps, but if I am running a 1500 just out of nowhere, I'd enjoy it just as much. Like after I ran my first 15, I was like, oh, okay, wow, I want to do it again. That was, pretty good. But I don't really know how to run a 15, so
it's very tactical.
It's just sprint the last 200. That's literally what I do.
All right, well, in your freshman year last year, you were winning every race. You're breaking every record. Were you surprising yourself, or was this always the plan going into the year?
Like I said, I had no expectations coming into college. So I think after I began to break records, I started to change my goals, where I'm like, okay, actually, I want a PR. So for example, I think I ran 201, and then I didn't run the 800 again until SECs. And I saw Keely Hodgkin, who I competed with at, in the Olympics this past year, and she ran 158, I believe 6 or something like that, but she just broke the world junior record. And so I was like, I want that. And so I ran at SECs and I got it. Not really thinking about running 158. I think at the time I really was focused on breaking the collegiate record, just because I'm like, okay, why not? This is probably the last time I'm going to run 800. I'm so close. It's like less than a second off. So let's just do it. But I ended up breaking the world junior record. But I think it's just little things like that I see that I'm like, ooh, I want that. Also the 400. I saw Jessica Beard had the record, 50:79, I believe it was. And then
Another fellow Aggie.
Yes, exactly. And so I ran, I believe 51. Or I think I ran 50 point. I'm not really sure. I ran one of them. But it's just seeing what other people do that kind of pushes me more than going straight after a record. I don't know. I think I just kind of set my goals off based off of what I do personally. And I think I just take it one step at a time. And like I say all the time, if a record comes with it, then great. But if not, at least I'm bettering what I'm doing as an athlete personally.
Yeah, so it definitely seems like you know the sport well, and you probably had some idols growing up. At the Olympics, you were able to run with two former world record holders and the most decorated athlete, track and field athlete in the world, Allison Felix. How was that experience to kind of go full circle and not just be able to meet them in the past, but actually run with them and win an Olympic gold?
It was probably the most surreal moment that I've had, in the entire Olympics. I always say the 4x4 was way more fun than the 800. I mean, I enjoyed winning the 800, but I just felt like this 4x4 was so historical, and it was just, I've never I don't really even run, besides collegiately. I think this was my first year actually running with a collective group of women. Like, okay, yeah, in college, I was running with Cherokee, Janaya, Tiara, Sierra, and a couple other women where we always shuffled the relays, and we all worked together. We broke collegiate records together. But this was just another level where, again, we have women that are all on the same level. And as you guys stated, every single one of them are super, super strong women, and just they have so much history in the sport. And so just to be the young one and kind of just seem like we're just turning the page of just athletes, American athletes in the 4x4 relay, it was really special. I was kind of surprised to be the anchor on it, but I definitely appreciated given the opportunity to do that and bringing it home for the team. Definitely special.
And also, just side note, 3 of the 4 are not pure 400-meter runners, since you mainly focus in the 800 but have some speed. And then Dalil Muhammad and Sydney McLaughlin are both 400 hurlers. So it's pretty amazing to see y'all's versatility to be able to step up in that race.
Yeah, right. I think that's what made it also super historical, just because, again, basically all of us. Allison definitely considers 200 her event. So basically all 4 of us were on this relay, and we don't even really compete in the 400, the open 4. So it was definitely just special. I mean, I just super honored to be a part of that, and just to show people, that you really can do anything. It doesn't really matter what your key event is.
So who gave kind of the pep talk going into that race? Was there any talking? Were you nervous? What were the nerves going into that race?
It was so weird because there was really none of that. Like, to be honest, we were like getting ready we all warmed up by ourselves. We practiced handoffs, of course, but I think we said a little prayer together with Mr. Bobby, Allison, and Sydney's coach before we went out there. But really, we kind of just knew what we had to do. So we knew I don't know if we were specifically, I wouldn't say we were really chasing the world record, but we knew it was definitely possible. We kind of had little slight talks about it prior to the actual race day. But we all, again, just knew what we had to do. We all knew that we had to run fast just in order to work together and come together. But when we were walking out, we were kind of just all in our own mindset, just focusing into, going out. As you saw the little intro, we didn't really do anything compared to the other countries. So that was just us mainly focusing on the race and just what we had to do individually just to come together and get this title.
And I feel like the 4x4 relay really exemplifies what it is to be a track athlete, because each person, you're running your own race. And you said y'all were all focused on yourselves, but it takes every single person coming together for the group to get the win.
Exactly.
And that's what it's like for college track too. We all come together and score points for the team, but at the end of the day, you're running your own race. So yes, it is an individual sport, but it is a team sport. And I feel like the 4x4 really exemplifies that perfectly. So, to the Olympics, you went kind of in the weirdest year there was. It was in the middle of a pandemic. Tell me what your Olympic experience was like.
It was definitely different. I went to Youth Olympics in 2018, and this was basically it was literally an Olympic Games just for athletes under the age of 18. And so I got to have kind of the full experience there, where we had athletes in all different sports, all different countries that all came together in one Olympic village. And I was, I didn't really know anything about the actual Olympic Games just because I never had to, had that experience. And so I kind of just based off this Olympic Games off of that experience. And going there, I realized, geez, like this year really took a lot away from us, just experience-wise for all the athletes out here competing. And I mean, it was different. I feel like I didn't really get to enjoy it as much as anyone else would have in any past Olympics, just because we couldn't really leave the village to get food. We couldn't leave the village to go explore. And everyone was kind of in and out. So we had to leave like 2 days after our race just because of COVID and everything. And so that kind of just took away a lot of opportunities for us. There wasn't a ton of socializing, I mean, just because of everyone being afraid of getting COVID. So it was a hard time just because we didn't really get to interact the way that, you know, you usually would. And when you go to the Olympics, it's more than just about you going there and competing. You go there as one of the greatest athletes ever, you know, in the past year and in all different sports. And so you want to experience other things. You want to experience people and things like that. But again, we didn't really get to do that. And that was kind of disappointing, but I know in the future it's going to be way better.
So did you not really have an opportunity to bond with your relay teammates?
I mean, I feel like this goes back to track and field in general. It's definitely an individual sport. So you go there, you know what you're competing for, you know what you're getting ready for. And so you prep individually unless you guys are teammates off the track, you know, off the Olympic Games. And so I was kind of just there competing by myself, getting ready for my race on my own. Of course, when it came to checking in and things like that, we were with each other, but there were never a ton of conversations, mostly just, you know, you would see each other slightly, say hello, say what's up, and that's really it. But no one really hung out. And we also didn't really know who was going to be on the relay until the day of. So we didn't really get that bond yet.
So with the COVID protocols, I know track and field is the second week of the Olympics, so I assume that y'all weren't there for the opening ceremony. Were you able to participate in the closing ceremony?
I did. It was different. Me and Bryce actually we got ready. He was still there because he ran the 4x4 as well. So we kind of just got ready and came down. We went over to the stadium again, and it was different. I mean, it wasn't super exciting, but I mean, it was just cool just to be able to experience at least something, you know, since we missed the actual opening ceremony. But
have you worn that outfit since?
I have not.
Will you ever wear it?
I actually did not like it. First of all, my shoes were way too big. Okay. They were like 2 inches too big. And then my pants were like so straight in the bottom. And I think I was flooding. I'm not going to lie. So, I mean, it wasn't terrible. It kind of was a little cheesy just because I'm like, okay, this is what they do. You know, this is part of the Olympic Games and the experience. So I enjoyed that part, just being able to have it. But yeah, I just feel like I look a little goofy. But no, I have not worn it, and I probably won't ever wear it again.
So what was your biggest takeaway as an athlete from the Olympics?
I think this past year, since it was a COVID year, I realized that everyone is going, you know, everyone was here and working for their own thing. Everyone got here for a reason. We all came here, we all went through the same thing. We all went through the same thing through the COVID year. And so just coming into these games and leaving it at the same time, I was just like, man, you still have to do your work. You still have to push hard. You still have to reach for your goals no matter what the circumstances is, because you don't know what everyone else is going through. I think at this point we did, just because of it, you know, COVID was so huge, but any other time you're not really sure what other people are going through. And at the end of the day, it's super important that you still stay locked in, you still get that work in, because anything can happen. You know, I would not expect me to be at the Olympics so soon and just in 1 year, you know, just everything changing for me. But I mean, I was working during the time of COVID, even though it was a hard time for me. And even after that, I was still working. And so I just, you know, I think you still, anything's possible. And you kind of just have to do your work, like I said, and, you know, things will happen. Things will fall in place for you.
So you had a long season of running, a lot of season of working now. How did you celebrate winning Prefontaine, PRing, and kind of closing that 2021-2022 season? How did that
And
happen?
2 gold medals.
And 2
Gotta
gold
celebrate
medals.
those.
Yeah, let's 2. I guess it was kind of hard for me just because I decided to still, you know, do school the following semester. And since Prefontaine ended on the 21st, I think school started on the 29th or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my God. So I didn't have that much time. So right after pre, I literally flew, like I came back home, like to Texas, and flew straight to Cabo a day later. And I went with a couple friends and my family members, or like my brother really just. And I don't know, we stayed there for about 5 days or so. And so I just kind of just debriefed a little bit, enjoyed the sun, enjoyed the water, and just had fun there. But right after, it kind of just felt like it was back to work, because I went home for a parade, which, I mean, it's definitely chill and low key, but it's one of those things where you don't really, I guess for me, just coming off this past year, I didn't really have that much time just because it was something that was so big for an athlete like me, I guess being so young, and people kind of wanted to hear about it and, see me and things like that. And so I kind of just had to focus back in just a little bit once I came back, and then school started. So it's been a little different. I feel like I'm still kind of living off it right now, but.
So you went right back into school after Cabo.
I did.
You're still in college. How much has your life changed since last year? Because now you're a whole professional athlete.
It's definitely changed. I guess it's changed a lot, but it also hasn't changed a ton, if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
So I think one of the main things, like I was talking about just a second ago, is I just have a lot more opportunities to really go and do. Not being straight in this area, just things happening kind of all over the country. Again, people wanting to hear from me, people wanting to get shoots and things like that. And so that definitely takes up a ton of time for me, just because it can be in this area, but it's mostly not really in this area. So I have to go travel, and traveling takes a ton of time. And then, so I think it's just, for me, that big change is just managing what has changing, or just adjusting to the change. The one thing that was important to me, or at least has been important since going pro, was staying kind of in the same area, just so that I didn't have to adjust to that whole thing entirely. I'd rather just adjust to the actual professional life than have to adjust to, a change of place. And then also, not being with the same athletes that I was with just a year ago and things like that. So it's just been different with the opportunities and adjusting to the time, I guess, that it's taken away from the other things that I do.
Well, I've got to give you some props, other than all the props you deserve already. But me being an insider, being able to see the experience you've gone through in the last year, you're still as humble as you can be, but you've stayed in the same training group. You still train with our team and Coach Mallard. You still live right next door to your best friend like you did as a freshman. You're really doing a good job of transitioning into a professional career, and you're on such a worldwide stage now. Yeah. But you're still keeping things close to home. And I know this is probably such a hard transition for you because you're still so young, but you're doing a really good job at it.
Thank you.
Props to you.
I love to hear it. Thank you.
So, Athing, I just had a question bouncing off of you being a professional now. With SEC indoors coming up this weekend, obviously a huge meet. Looking back on your experience, do you miss that camaraderie that comes with being a part of a college track team?
I would say yes, definitely. So track and field is, like I said, for like the third time, like track and field is so individual, but I realized like when I got to college, it changed, especially just training in the same group of athletes that were doing the same thing. We have a super big 800 group, especially this year, but just being able to compete and basically live with these athletes every single day. And y'all are just going through the same thing with school. Y'all are going through the same thing with training and competing at the same meets and everything. It kind of just feels like you're not the only one. And I really enjoyed that experience so much. Things are obviously different for me now because I'm kind of going to these meets, competing by myself and things like that. So I do miss being in the team group atmosphere. But I'm still here, and I'm being quote unquote assistant coach, even though I'm not really doing much of that. And just still being with the athletes, just prepping with them for these races and competitions as if I'm competing, and really just being, I guess, motivational, helpful, and just being that person that kind of went through it and can kind of give advice, I guess, or I don't know, just being a person that's just there. I guess a shoulder, I could say.
Yeah, so for reference for everybody, Athing currently still trains with Coach Mallard at our team practices, but she has the title of assistant coach. So technically you're authority over me now?
I really am, Kennedy.
That feels so wrong. No, but we love it, and we love having you around still. So who would you say in your crazy journey you've had so far has helped you the most with your success and fame and kind of keeping you grounded?
That's a great question. I feel like the one thing that really comes to our mind, which is not really hard to say, is God, honestly. I've just gone through a lot, and without really knowing, I think just when you actually go through something, or when I personally actually went through something, I realized that everything that kind of happened and the way things happened and how the things affected me in whatever case, it kind of was based off of my experience and what God was doing for me and how he was working with me and through me through everything. And so, especially this past year, I realized that it was him doing all of the work and him planning out my life, because talking about how I went through that hard time during the COVID year of me not even wanting to compete. I don't even know if I said that, but I definitely did not want to really do track and field at the time because it just wasn't fun as much as it was. And I was trying to let go of it. I was trying really not to come to A&M as well, just because I kind of thought I wanted to go to Oregon. But at some point, I kind of just let him take control. I kind of realized I wouldn't choose this school for no reason. I wouldn't be running track and field for no reason. I've gotten this far with track and field. Why would I end here? And so that's another reason why I kind of went into the year with no expectations. I'm just letting God do all of his work. And so I really think that he kind of kept me grounded in all of the years of me competing since I was 6 years old, just always keeping it fun, always bringing new people into my life, and just really showing me that this is what he's blessed me with, and this is the thing that he's given me and what I'm going to use to, you know, further share his name and his word and things like that in the future.
Wow. I don't think you could have answered that better.
So I just had a quick question. Looking from the outside perspective, obviously, I'm kind of just curious. What does a workout look like for you on an average day? Middle of the week?
Okay.
What's it look like?
So I think middle of the week we kind of transition from strength things to speed. So I'll just give you kind of half and half of what we do at sometimes. The beginning of the week is probably some harder tempo things. We usually do fartleks, go up to like...
What is that? Wait, a what?
Sorry, forgot to use the sprinters. Fartlek, it's like where you're running basically on and off for a certain amount of time. So say if we start at 5 minutes, we'll do 5 minutes on, 4 minutes of a slower jog, and then we would do like 4 minutes on and then 3 minutes of a slower jog.
And
but it's
how fast is that
constant
on
running.
tempo?
It's probably like cross country pace. So that's for us girls, probably like 40 seconds or a little. We get faster as the year progresses.
We love Penberthy Fields.
Oh yeah, we love it. All the hills that you guys never run on in the back. But yeah, it's nothing. It's just draining sometimes. It's a little boring running for a good, like 40 minutes just continuously. But having good teammates, trying to chat is always fun, but doesn't really happen often.
I can't run for 40 seconds continuously. That's
it's
ridiculous.
Okay. It's okay. 800 group is different. And then we usually transition, like I said, to sprint. So 200 repeats is usually something they get prepped for, and 800 always. Probably go like from 33 down to 29 or something like that.
Like 33 seconds to 29-second pace?
Yes, each.
So that gets to
200.
near sprinting.
Basically, yeah.
And how many of those 200s would you do?
Most of the time we do 10 with like
It's
Wow.
brutal
1
to
minute
watch. It's
rest.
brutal to watch. They run their entire workout in between, like we would run one rep to the second rep. And they're just continuously running. We're
You
like,
guys are
how
just, like,
much rest do they have?
chilling for like 7 minutes. We're like on the 7th rep.
I bet you every little aspiring 800 runner right now is writing down notes these workouts
okay,
are doing.
okay. Hey, this
If
is
I
the
do
basic
this and
workout.
this, I'm going to win a gold medal.
Oh yeah, 1000%. Try it.
10 200s, broken fours. But so this upcoming year, you kind of have, as a professional now, not being on a team, you kind of have to get to choose your own events and your own schedule. Do you have any plans of doing U.S. Indoor World Championship or just World Championships indoor? And then what are some of the bigger meets outdoor season that you have kind of penciled in?
Yeah, just give us your race plan for the year.
Yeah, well, I feel like for me, being with a college coach, it's a bit, I'm not saying it's like it's not super hard, but for me, I want Coach Mallet to be where I am, or at least I want to be where Coach Mallet is. So I think let's just start off with, I'm not really running anything else indoors.
Mm-hmm.
USA's is this weekend, and you have to run there in order to go to World Champs, which I'm not really crazy about. So I'm not competing anymore for indoor season. We're just going to look forward to the outdoor season. So I'll be at Arizona running the 400, opening up probably there. It's not official, but I'm probably going to run.
Penciled in.
I'm probably going to run a 400 or something
That's
like
where
that.
the track team is going on spring break. Yay, I'm happy you're coming.
just to do it. And then moving forward, we're just going to work towards World Champs in July. I'm going to have to go to trials. I believe it's like 2 days, maybe like June 24th, 25th or something like that. It's like maybe 2 weeks or so after NCAA's. But we're just gonna kind of pencil in a couple meets. I'll open up into 8 outdoors, obviously, just to get a run in. But I'm gonna definitely be running some 400s starting outdoors, and hopefully I can run a 4x4 with some fast ladies. Yeah, wink, wink. But that's just pretty. I'm not really doing too much.
And in track and field, if you are a world champion, you get an auto bid to the next world championships. Does that apply with winning the Olympics and you get an auto bid to worlds, or is that not the
I
case?
actually have absolutely no idea. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Well, okay, let me. I'm probably just spreading.
No,
some
you're definitely
misinformation.
right. That's what happens with world champs. But I think since the Olympics is kind of its own thing, then I don't really think it works that way. But I'm gonna be at trials regardless, and I'm gonna get a spot. Because, you know what? Why not? So, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be competing there. And then top 3 goes to world champs, and that's really it.
So, you went in the span of a year from a high school kid to a collegiate superstar to a professional athlete, worldwide known by everyone. How has that transition been, and has it added pressure to you?
It's definitely been a big transition, I guess. I don't want to say it's a huge transition. Like, it hasn't been the world-ending transition for me just because I kind of experienced this whole thing gradually. I think as I was younger and I began running at AAU and then going into running with professional athletes and just like little meets and running fast time, being one of the best high school athletes, it kind of progressed throughout the years where more and more people began to notice me. And so that just allowed me to change kind of sort of, but more so I got to feel what it would feel like to have more and more people gravitate towards you and really want to start following you and things like that. And so throughout the years, I've kind of gained a little experience with, handling those type of things and knowing what to do with, say, taking photos with people and competing and training and getting ready for a race and people wanting to, see you and talk to you and things like that. I think just throughout the years, it kind of progressed. So when it came to this past year, it really wasn't anything too bad. I kind of already knew how it would be. I knew the experience and I knew how it felt. So that was definitely super beneficial to me. But there's definitely pressure. And I think throughout the years, again, as you get older from AAU to high school to college to professional life, the pressure changes. It kind of adjusts however, I guess maybe you adjust to it. And so in AAU/high school days, I kind of was just like, oh, whatever, I'm just running. Collegiately, again, I kind of was the same way, but at the same time, I still wanted to do the best for myself. And I think that also ties into going into the professional life as well. I think professionally, even as a collegiate athlete, there's definitely a lot more people talking about you as an athlete, just, what they believe you can do and what they think you're going to do and things like that. And so it starts to be a lot of, I guess, noise on the outside, and that kind of plays a role in how you interact or how you pressure yourself as well. And so I think not even collegiately, but just professionally, I think I started to put a little pressure on myself, just knowing what I can do and knowing what I've done this past year, especially. It's just, I want to be the best. I want to do the best for myself. And that's just a little added pressure that I have on myself, along with everyone else that kind of has their idea about me and what they want me to do.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be a little bit of pressure because now this is your career. It's your livelihood.
Definitely.
This is how you make money, essentially.
Yeah.
Side note, if track wasn't a thing, what was your dream career?
When I was younger, I was probably like 4th grade. Not even 4th grade. I was probably I don't know. I was like young. But anyways, I literally did this whole little model walk thing inside in the kitchen.
I see it.
So like, I don't know. I think I just started to move toward this now, just seeing like a lot of other South Sudanese like models and things on the internet, even seeing track and field athletes that like are doing just like, I guess, model gigs and also just like photo shoots and things like that. I'm like, wow, that looks so cool. I want to do that.
I mean, your bestie, Sydney McLaughlin, does so much modeling.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm like, man, if I could do that, that'd be super fun. Just putting my face out
I'm
there
happy to hear that because I've always called you Victoria's Secret model.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I've always called you that.
It'd be fun. A little different.
Well, when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want to be known as the go-getter I want everyone who thinks of me, when they think of Athing Mu, just be like, dang, she always went after it, you know? She was never afraid, and no matter who was competing, no matter how old she was, no matter what the stacks, you know, were against her or any circumstances, she always went after it. She just did what she had to do and ran like, you know, no one was watching, just ran for herself. And I think that's really important, just because, again, there's pressure everywhere. Everyone wants you to do something, but it's about like what you're going to do. And so I want everyone who's competing, whether it's in this sport or in another sport, to always go after it, no matter what the case is. Being young, like 16 years old, competing with professional athletes, I kind of always said to myself, oh yeah, you're just, you know, it's fine. I'm just 16. I have many years to go. But as I got into college, I realized, man, whatever. Like, I'm like the youngest one in this group, but hey, I'm just going to go do it, because why not?
Why not? Well, that ends our main questions of the day, but we're going to play a little game where we're going to do some rapid fire questions, and we're going to have Ryan take it away.
Okay.
All right, to finish this off today, we're going to ask you some rapid fire questions we had submitted from your fans. You have to answer as many as you can in a minute, 55 seconds, your personal record, of course.
Minute 55.
I will get the timer going.
I'll also have a big clock if you're watching to see. There. Yeah, we can see it. All right, are you ready?
I can't really see that. Okay. All right, ready?
I'm not.
3, 2, 1. What is the worst way someone has pronounced your name?
Athing.
What is your go-to hobby to take your mind off things?
Shopping.
Favorite Aggie tradition?
Aggie ring.
Why Nike as your sponsorship?
They are definitely super innovative.
What do you want your career to be after track?
Modeling.
What is your ultimate goal for the season? We kind of talked about this. Weirdest place you've gotten noticed?
In the bathroom.
Really?
Did you take a photo?
Yes.
What is your weekly mileage?
Probably like 30. I have no idea. I never track it.
Favorite Northgate spot?
Oh my God. Social?
Swag. Do you like having people recognize you in public, or is it kind of annoying?
It depends on where I'm at.
What car do you drive?
2022 Range Rover Sport.
Woo!
What color?
Fresh.
What
Oh,
color?
white.
Early.
What kind of interior?
Tan?
Solid. How many dogs do you have, and what are their names? Or pets?
I have one pet. His name is Bentley. He kind of has a friend named Achilles that is always with Bentley.
What kind of coffee are you drinking?
Ice caramel macchiato.
Who got it for you?
From Kennedy.
I didn't get one.
It's okay.
Are you single or dating anyone? I didn't write that question.
Hanging out.
Well, I think you're out of time. You actually managed to get through all the questions. So
I was working so hard to try to add some. You're just going way too fast.
You were going so fast.
I thought it was
we
going
had to
pretty
add
slow.
like 10 questions. Sorry, that question at the end was mine.
It was originally going to be
That
a
was a
minute.
spicy one.
It was originally going to be a minute, but I moved to a minute 55, which definitely changed things. So good job.
Has no one like finished their time?
This is our first time
It's our
playing this
first
game.
time.
Oh, okay.
It was
okay.
special to you.
Oh, I love it.
Because we
I
had
love
so
it.
many questions come in from different people because you have so many fans.
I love it. I love it. Thank y'all.
Well, we've had such a great time on here today with you. Thank you so much for sitting down with us on the Seniors on JV podcast. And we cannot wait to sit down with you again after your first full professional year.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.
Stay off the bench, Kennedy.
You
Get
stay
off
off
the
the bench, Jake.
Get off the bench.
I'm not on the bench. You are.
Wow, that was fun.
Yay!
Oh my God, not the single or dating question.
All right.